This is the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games!
It is caught by Kelce! Touchdown! Kansas City!
I need 3 of those things, baby! We ain't done yet! We ain't done yet! You like that? You like that? I like that!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast, episode number 107. I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus.
And I'm Ruckus the Menace.
And tonight we are doing the starting lineup. We'll be doing the good, the bad, and the ugly as per usual. The high heat, where we talk the AL and NL East for the trade deadline. The color commentary, where the subject matter is big deal, little deal, or nothing burger. And then we have our stun dud of the week. Alright, Spennis, how are we feeling?
Oh man, I think the delayed recording was probably very good for us because we dealt with a little bit of a delay in the sense of busyness on my end.
Well,
but yesterday,
on my end too.
well, I mean, my end was we had some friends of ours come up this way for the weekend and stay with us, and then I had a softball game yesterday against one of the top teams in the league. Had a 5-hit game, and we won by 2 runs in the pouring rain.
That's what I live for. Yeah,
Man.
I pretty much went to an airsoft event on Saturday. That was fun. It was also raining a little bit. It wasn't like pouring hard, but it was still fun. Like, I had a blast doing that. And then Sunday I've been playing baseball with the homies. So I had a very busy weekend. Saturday after airsoft, I pretty much passed out because I was tired. I was a tired ruckus.
Yeah.
But other than that, I am still alive and well. If people were wondering where the hell I've been, just living life. Anyways,
and the slow pitch softball for me, it was 5 for 6, and I actually crushed a couple of balls for ground rule doubles. And actually, one of those ground rule doubles also was a 2 RBI ground rule double.
Hi, I'm Big Spennis, and I hit dingers.
Actually, our home run leader, we actually played that game because we're allowed to field 10. We only had 9. And actually our silver slugger was out of town. So that kind of felt good. But overall it's good. We can get right into the transaction log.
All right. I'll start it off. So we will start with a somber note, as per usual on this podcast. Now it seems.
Well, it just seems to be the common trend that we've had a lot of notable names pass away.
Yeah. And it feels weird whenever it happens, like every other or not every other, but every episode. But it is what
True.
it is. And
because I think what was it? We had Bill Walton, then Willie Mays, then Howie Schwab,
Jerry West.
Yeah, Jerry West. Yep. Howie Schwab earlier in the year.
And then also a Chiefs great also passed away last week as well. I did not put that in the notes, but I just figured I would mention it. But anyways, hey, here we go. So, Joe Jellybean Bryant, the father of the late Kobe Bryant, has passed away. How old was this man?
I think he was in his 60s.
But yeah, condolences to the Bryant family for that.
Yeah.
That's.
I think a lot of the basketball world and basketball life and culture has not been the same since January of 2020.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where I was when I found out that Kobe Bryant had passed.
I think I was
I know I know exactly where I was and what I was doing when I found out. It was halftime, and I was at the World Series of Trivia with a small team that I had in I was out in, I think it was Thurmont, Maryland. Halftime, when all of a sudden someone broke the news that Kobe Bryant had passed away in that helicopter crash.
But in a more positive note, Todd
Yep.
Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland, him and Adrian Beltre. Sorry, Beltre, kind of botched that. Let me redo that. Todd Helton.
As long as you don't touch his head, you're good.
All right, let's redo that. Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, Jim Leland, and Adrian Beltre were enshrined into Cooperstown this weekend. I thought it was so. Whenever during the All-Star game, when they did like the ceremonial first pitch or whatever, Pudge Rodriguez caught for Adrian Beltre when they had him throw the first pitch. I thought that was pretty cool how they did all of that. They also had a few other great Texas Rangers like Nolan Ryan and like a few other guys. I just can't remember off the top.
Although I think a lot of Nolan Ryan's great years were when he was an Astro, but I think Nolan Ryan would probably be most notably for being actually either an Angel or an Astro. But yeah, Nolan Ryan involved with the Rangers, that works out. Out of these four, the only one I got to see live was Joe Mauer. But of course, Todd Helton has the unique thing of being the starting quarterback at the University of Tennessee before one Peyton Manning took over.
Yep.
Yes, I said that.
And then our next thing of news, the American League defeated the National League 5-3 in the All-Star game, and Boston Red Sox Jarren
Duran wins the MVP
for a go-ahead two-run homer. I thought that was a pretty sweet homer too.
Duran has come a long way over these last couple of years, and he's kind of been very, very up and down in the Red Sox system. But this year has been one of those years where it's just something is clicking with him. And I, as a Red Sox fan, couldn't be any happier about that.
And then, what you wouldn't be happy about is Big Maple.
James Paxton gets the DFA.
Yes, sir. And
But he was already gone away from us. I think we had already let him go. I think he was a Dodger at the time.
Yep, he was. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires. But now we are focusing on the Olympics. As the Olympics starts this week, are we really excited for anything as far as the events besides just?
I'm excited for this to get started because although Ruckus is more known for kind of picking up on a lot more of the mainstream sports, say like your football, your basketball, the baseball, I love kind of catching into some of these off the wall things and just kind of that. Because kind of those sports that are just really, really nice to watch, too. I look forward to trying to watch a little bit of... probably try and catch a little bit of as much as I can of just about any and every little thing that I can see, from whatever qualifying errors to whatever finals. Uh, I don't know if any of the stuff that's going on tomorrow, like at the time of recording or at the time of upload, which will be the 24th of July, that if I'll successfully be able to find anything with the soccer matches or rugby sevens that kick off tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I am sure that if I can find it, and it comes on, whatever I end up finding, I'll watch. I'll watch what I can.
I think
Just
I'll
watch whatever I
look at
can.
the
In the
highlights. That's about it. Like the
Oh,
trendy stuff.
but I think for me, like some of these obscure, like some of these odd sports that we're not used to seeing, I think it's good that we'll get to talk about some of the spotlight with each of those and kind of how it all comes together.
Yep.
And apparently, some of the last major bearers, LeBron James is going to bear the flag, but Snoop Dogg is running a leg of the torch.
Who shizzle my dizzle? You're welcome.
I knew that was coming.
And then as far as content comes, Netflix has released their show Receiver. They released that on the 10th of July. And honestly, I think it was a good idea to have for a series after they did quarterback. I wasn't as invested in this one, but I do like Amon-Ra and Justin Jefferson in this series. Devontae Adams, kind of hit or miss on him, but I love George Kittle in this too, because he's like the accuracy of me saying he's like the Steve Buscemi of football is pretty damn accurate when it comes to his craziness.
I love the. I will say for me, I will break down each spot because I have watched the thing in its entirety. Kind of ranking like the entertainment of each side of it on the watch. Number five for me was actually Deebo Samuel. I mean, though there were a lot of great things about Deebo, I don't think there was. I just felt like the deeper dive on him was not quite as intriguing as some of the others. I mean, I understand, like, the origin, the most important thing for me was just kind of the origin of how he ended up getting his Debo name. Was nice to kind of know about. Number 4 for me was Devontae Adams. For me, I think the great part about the Devontae Adams thing was kind of just learning a little bit more about his navigating through his first rounds of fatherhood, and then also as he was preparing for his third child, and finding out that he was having a son and all that in the doc. That for me, Devontae's was all right in that regard. Number 3, I have Justin Jefferson. Just kind of seeing a little bit more of that deeper dive into some of the personality outside of of what you see on the football field for Justin Jefferson. That, yeah, on the field he's like a huge extrovert with the chains, the grills, the gritty, and just that alter ego of Jets. But then, really, on the inside of it, he's just a quiet guy behind the scenes. Like, you take all that off him, and he's just kind of a regular. Like, he makes it feel like he's such a regular guy.
Yeah, I like that first episode when it came to him talking about the gritty and whatnot. And Amon-Ra, really inspired
Oh,
me when it came to the whole thing about his dad's his like parents pretty much pushing him at a young age to be great. Like you don't see that
yeah.
a lot in when it comes to athletes or just people in general. When it comes to
Oh yeah, for me, number two, the second best one, the second most intriguing one. I I gotta say, George Kittle. I thought George Kittle would have been number one, but there were enough things that came about with who I'm going to mention at number one that kind of beat it to it. I love like the people's champ, the people's tight end, George Kittle. Just kind of the entertainment side, the dynamic that he has with his wife Claire. His actual and the origins behind his first down celebration. That was a big one too, where he actually takes it from Pentasero Miedo, a professional wrestler. He is for him is one of his favorites, where he starts out with the up with the zero up and then flips the M down. That piece of it right there was a solid piece, and then knowing that Claire is also a fierce competitor and will actually shove Kittle to hype him up. Like that takes pure investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, number one was Amon-Ra St. Brown. How he actually played with endurance through that whole season with a torn oblique, completely off the bone, no, mind you. His mother basically the encouragement of him to learn and be fluent in German. Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown is fluent in German. And then I think the whole stories, I just think the stories behind Amon-Ra St. Brown were more captivating because of this doc. Like for me, like last year with quarterback, I'd have told you that Kirk Cousins for me was the most captivating person, because we all know Patrick. I mean, nothing personal against the Chiefs or anything in saying this. I just think that the captivating storylines were with Kirk Cousins for me rather than Patrick Mahomes, because Mahomes does what he does.
Those are fighting words, sir.
What? What? Just saying that Mahomes just does what he does? Just does what he does.
Earlier, I'm just yanking your chain.
Oh yeah, but the reason why I say that the Kirk Cousins stuff was the most captivating was, yeah, you had the year that they happened to get Kirk Cousins for the quarterback documentary was the Kirk O'Change year. It just happened to be that year where they had the greatest comeback in NFL history. And those little... And I think the elements of Kirk Cousins just made that much more appealing to watch. Not that the Mahomes stuff was bad. It's just, for me, Kirk Cousins was looked like a much more relatable side of it. Is where I was getting at.
Yeah. All right, talk about
your
college football.
Just this past week, College Football 25 from EA Sports is out. I've gotten about a couple days with it in my hands, as I did not play over the weekend. And some thoughts I had. The game is not as forgiving as Madden. You make mistakes, you will be punished. And I think this game prepares you better for Madden. Turnovers are difficult, more difficult to force, but I can't. But with a bit of good timing and doing different things right, yeah, I can force turnovers. I've messed around with Dynasty. I've seen some stuff with Road to Glory, and I am excited to get into my Road to Glory journey whenever that comes. I will talk more about that here kind of right about now, because we'll just flow right into it. As we get into the content side. March to October, my Season 2 continues on Thursdays until the week of Madden Video's release. Final video for Menace Season 2 of March to October is going to be Labor Day, September 2nd. The plans for the EA Sports college football stuff now that it's out. Dynasty mode. The school chosen was James Madison University, and this will kick off on August 3rd. And Road to Glory will be releasing likely on August 7th. It is going to be a running back. I have officially decided that it's going to be a runner. And you will find out the 7th of August. I will where my player, which I am just going to name as myself, will be playing his ball. So you will not know that information until the video releases. And Madden Super Bowl is going to officially hit the YouTube airwaves starting September 5th. Which will be opening day of the NFL regular season. Ruckus will be kicking off the opener with the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
And then my left hand will be up on Friday. So Friday, Saturday will be a back-to-back of me playing football in virtual form. As I will have the Commanders on Fridays and JMU on Saturdays. Or at least my Dynasty run, JMU is going to be the first stop, and as I get promoted, the school could very well change. But I will be starting at the core. But at the core of this Dynasty mode, and the plan for it is that it is JMU. And now it is time to roll that beautiful tumbleweed footage as we head into the Eastwood segment of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh yeah. So, do you want me to do the good for this episode?
Oh, the good this week involves the NBA. And I will let you roll.
Alright, the NBA has numerous options for TV rights with Disney, NBC, Amazon, and Warner Brothers, Discovery, Turner.
Yep. So inside the NBA has a good chance of being back because they were able to match the other offers. So it's all a matter of where the National Basketball Association chooses.
Yep. And good for the NBA too. When it comes to the,
I look forward. I think that you'll probably see. Oh, you'll definitely be seeing Mike Breen have it with whatever Disney and ESPN decide to bring to the table. Turner, of course, you're going to have those good options, especially in the studio when it comes to inside the NBA with the elevator, Ernie Johnson. Jack, Chuck, and Kenny the Jet.
Chuck.
But what intrigues me more is if they go with some of it to NBC and Amazon, who are they bringing in?
I mean, what if they just like kind of divide up the TNT guys, or do other
No,
things
you
too.
cannot. No, do not even break up inside the NBA. No, sir.
Um,
Those four in the studio definitely stay.
I think NBC would probably have Bob Costas and someone else, but I don't know because Kevin Harlan
Yeah,
would be more of a CBS or
yeah. Kevin Harlan is CBS, and
but
that
would he go to NBC or Amazon though?
no, I don't think Kevin Harlan's going to go anywhere because I think CBS is his. I think CBS is kind of his thing, and if he's not doing anything with CBS, I think he's more going to be Westwood One because
Well,
he does a
doesn't
lot of
he
the.
cover some NBA stuff too?
I mean,
Like, didn't
I
he
think
do that
Kevin
for
Har-
TNT?
Yeah, he does that occasionally with Turner, but I don't know. But here's the thing: is that if he goes, I think it's easier for him to stay with Turner if they can keep him there.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if he would jump ship to something that would give him more money, like kind of like how
I think,
Al Michaels
yeah,
and was it Kirk
but Kirk
Herbstreit?
Herbstreit, yeah,
Yeah,
but Kirk Herbstreit somehow was able to still be in the
college game
ESPN,
day.
yeah, the ESPN College Game Day water. It's kind of the same way with Pat McAfee and the College Game Day stuff, and him also doing WWE.
What if for NBC or Amazon they branch out the ESPN guys that were analysts and whatnot to cover those because there were some that like got let go like after the NBA season, didn't they? Like I know isn't Jeff Van Gundy like coaching somewhere
Uh,
though?
I don't know if Van Gundy's coaching. I don't know if Van Gundy's coaching
Because I think
or
him and
he's
Mike were announcers at one point.
yeah, and I think Mark Jackson was a part of that too.
Didn't he get also cut too, Mark Jackson?
I can't remember who all got cut
Is
from.
isn't Reggie Miller on CBS too, or no? He was on Turner. Wasn't he on?
Yeah,
Turner
he was with
Kevin?
Turner. I think he was occasionally there with with Kevin Harlan. I think he might have been, yeah.
Okay.
Either that or Marv
So
Albert, whichever of the two.
the question then is who the hell does the NBC broadcast? Because I think if anything, Bob Costas and maybe one other guy, maybe Ian Eagle, maybe, but Eagle does
Could even
the
see I could see if maybe on a play by play side, maybe you end up with that off chance that it could. I don't think Tarico would do it because I think Tarico is more football. But I could see.
So
But I
apparently,
could,
Marv Albert, Bill Walton, Steve Jones, and Jim Gray were announced broadcasters in 2000 to
Bill Walton
2002.
has passed. Well, Bill Walton
Right.
has passed.
So and then they had Mike Dunleavy and Mike Bren as well. So who
Mike Breen,
knows?
yep.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all goes around. I'm sure we're gonna get
Well,
notifications about it and who gets
yeah,
to
and that
do
was
whatever.
yeah. So NBC has not had it since 2002.
That'd be interesting.
But Iron Eagle is potentially a big could be a big winner for them if they
But anyways, the bad in sports this week is Brandon Ayuk because he requested a trade from the 49ers. And it was during training camp that he did it, which is the most inopportune time. Usually you do that kind of shit whenever it's near the beginning of off season or the middle, whenever you're whenever off-season contract negotiations go on, kind of like with Tyreek Hill a couple of years ago when he was wanting to be the highest-paid wide receiver, but the Chiefs couldn't pay him that much, so they traded him to the Dolphins. You would think that Ayuk would have probably said, "Man, screw this, screw you guys, I'm going somewhere else." yeah, that didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. But yeah,
But
I think I think it's bad because it's like, okay, you could have done this earlier.
I think it's bad just simply because it puts the 49ers in such a pinch. And this
If
pinch...
you signed Nick Bosa and a bunch of other dudes, and you still gotta find a way to sign Brock Purdy if you decide to keep him long term, which I don't know if they do that because of the fact that he's still
What?
I don't think they do it because here's the thing. There's always room for improvement with the QB room. No matter where you are in an organization such as the 49ers, they could possibly draft a guy or find a diamond in the rough later on.
Oh!
That's probably better than... You could always find someone better. And I don't know if Brock Purdy is that answer, but I mean, obviously, he's been pretty damn good. Brock Purdy has been good since he started with the 49ers and had those freak occasions where he was starting because the other guys were hurt or what have you, dealing with some trouble. But I don't know if he's like the true answer to that. We've had a couple seasons with Brock Purdy, but what if he gets hurt and is the same? What if you had to go to some other backup? You never know. Like, I understand why you'd be stunned on what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, what do the 49ers do? Do they entrust their will on Brock Purdy from a year from now? Maybe.
Yes!
You don't know. You still don't know what the future withholds. He could literally get hurt a year from now and be gone for a little bit, and then
That's the unpredictable stuff. That's the unpredictable stuff that happens. But has Brock Purdy made it so that he is worth investing to? Yes, he has.
But
he
if
has
you're the
made
49ers. You still have other pieces that you had to.
You still
try and
yeah.
keep.
You still
So
yeah. You and Brock Purdy is one of them. Brock Purdy is one of them. Brandon Ayuk, the 49ers intend to keep him at least through this season unless a really, really good trade. I'm sure unless a really, really good trade comes along.
Right.
But I think that the 49ers, yes, are going to intend to keep him and let him walk. They are going to let him walk.
Probably like T.
Let him play out the season. Yeah, let him play. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing about T. Higgins. That this is going to be what it is. You're going to play the last year of that contract. You're going to be an unrestricted free agent. Some other team's going to pick you up because the Pied Piper money that you're wanting to have is not going to be there. Not going to be there. And you're and you're likely going to be going to either Washington because Adam Peters is there, but I don't know if we'll really need it. Pittsburgh's always a possibility. New England tried to throw their hat in the ring sooner. So there's been multiple options that Ayuk will have a suitor for in the offseason when the money's there.
Yeah. I think, okay, so back to the Purdy thing. So you know how, like, the Commanders, I almost called them the Defenders for whatever reason. You know how the Commanders kind of had their future quarterback of Sam Howell and then traded him because of the way he went as far as production. That's why I said you never know how things are going to end up. Maybe Brock Purdy doesn't play as well as he did the past couple of years and he regresses. Do you still sign the man? I don't think you sign him for as much as I
think his track record is going to show. His track record will show for it. And plus he's got weapons there that are that are able to do things.
Able to do things when they're healthy, but yeah.
Yeah. But of course, you're going to say that just about every single... But every single team is going to have that same caveat.
Apparently not the Chiefs. We had the worst wide receiver core in history last season, and we still won the Super Bowl.
Well, that is because... Well, you had Marquez Valdez...
We had a beat-up Travis Kelce, and we still won the damn Super Bowl.
I mean, you had Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who had consistency issues. You had Kadarius Toney, who had being present issues.
He was just dumb with the way he did things.
You have Rashee Rice, who has issues off the field right now.
Dude, he is just a Speedy Gonzalez waiting to happen.
Yeah, but ultimately, I think if you are the 49ers, unless Brock Purdy really shows you a true reason not to invest in him, especially because of the value of what that fifth-year option or whatever other option may be available that he can have. Yeah, Brock Purdy is not going to be ultimately like... He's not going to make Joe Burrow money.
Right.
He's not going to make Joe Burrow money.
But the Niners still have to save money for him. But anyways...
Yeah, but I think that... But yeah, the Niners have to prioritize... You have to prioritize the assets. And if Brandon Ayuk is already playing at this point with one foot out the door, you can let him deal with that, and then you just shove the other one right out and cut bait as quickly as you possibly can.
Right. What was the ugly for sports this week, Spennis?
The ugly involves the ACC, Clemson, and Florida State in a legal battle. I'm sure because you had mentioned that, I thought you would have had more of the details on this.
I can get more of the details. So the Atlantic Coast Conference Commissioner Jim Phillips said the league will fight as long as it takes in legal cases against Florida State and Clemson, as those member schools challenge the league's ability to charge hundreds of millions of dollars to lead the conference.
Apparently that the withdrawal fees are... that the price is so exorbitant that it puts Florida State and Clemson in such a compromising position to leave.
Well, I mean, Clemson was a very popular college football school like years ago when Deshaun Watson was there. You had you had the ETNs, or one of the ETNs.
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, and then you had Trevor Lawrence over at Clemson for those years. And then Florida State had famous Jameis. You got you had like a few other guys that I can't name off the top of my damn
Dalvin Cook.
Yep. You had a lot of big names, and the ACC has the big names, so does the SEC, especially Alabama, because it seemed like every year for Alabama they had a big name guy that went to the NBA draft. Not NBA draft. The NFL.
NFL!
Yeah, this is why I call it Ruckus. Yeah, Alabama usually had like a first round draft person to go in every year, it seemed like, and then you had like LSU and whatnot. But anyways, I thought it was ugly for the Clemson and Florida State thing in the legal battle. Mainly
because I bet both of them were eventually wanting to get out, and I don't know where they were going to head, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were both wanting to head to the SEC.
Big 12, baby! Actually, I
Big
don't
12?
care.
I thought it would be the SEC because
I'm just spitballing. I don't know in specifics, but I was
if
just
it was
thinking it'd be
because if
funny
it was
they
the
just said Big
SEC,
12.
you'd have Clemson, South Carolina get reignited that way, Florida State. And the SEC right now has just become like a juggernaut with adding Oklahoma and Texas there.
Is the Pac-12 or Big 10 still a thing?
The Big Ten, basically the Power Four conferences right now are the ACC, SEC, Big Ten, and Big 12.
Okay, yeah.
Of which the Big Ten and Big 12 have no way of even dare being that proper number.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the high heat. As this week it is the AL and NL East that we're going to analyze for whether or not these teams are buyers, sellers, or holders in the MLB trade deadline. So let's start it off with the New York Yankees on the AL East side. I have that they need starting pitching and relief pitching because, my God, their starting pitching has been complete ass. Carlos Rodon has not been the same since he was with either the Giants or the White Sox.
I would say the White Sox.
Well, he was pretty damn good with the Giants, too. But that and their relief pitching has been pretty piss poor as well. They picked some rejects from the Dodgers and Caleb Ferguson, and they also have Tim Hill. I was surprised to see him pitching for them. I thought he'd be pitching somewhere else. Like, I thought he was still on the Padres, but nope, that poor bastard is on the Yankees. And then other relievers, it just seems kind of non-existent. I think their offense is okay. They got Juan Soto, you got Judge, you kind of got Stanton. Stanton really hasn't been doing much but Stanton around on the bench from all the injuries he gets on his hips.
The DH too.
Yeah, and then DJ LeMay. I think their offense is okay, but long story short, they need pitching badly if they're going to survive.
But I think they also need some sort of hitting support though, especially from certain positions.
You just need.
I think
Go ahead.
I think if they should buy, I don't think you get splashy. But of course, I would rather the Yankees be out of the playoffs anyway. But that's just me.
Yeah, you dirty Red Sox fan. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. I think if anything, the offense just needs to get their head out of their butt when it comes to certain things. Like Verdugo, he's got the power. He can help. Torres, stay healthy, my friend. You'll be fine. Just kick ass and take names. The young guys like Volpe and Cabrera, keep doing what you're doing. Soto, kick ass, take names. Judge, you already know. You're the league leader in home runs right now. Stanton, for love of God, quit acting like Shakira. Trent Grisham, keep it up. Ben Rice, my God, like you're remind me of Cody Bellinger back in the day. I say back in the day, but Cody Bellinger as a Dodger when he first started was raking almost like Ben Rice was. Keep it up, kiddo. But yeah. All right. Boston Red Sox back at the park at Fenway Park. I put, if a good deal comes around, go for it, but chill for the time being. Because they're still in that phase of they're trying to build that chemistry still with the players they have. You got Duran, like we talked about earlier, which was the MVP for the AL. You got pitching for the most part. Like, it's not great. It's not excellent to the point where you'd be comfortable going into the postseason and be confident being like, hey, we can do this. I think, if anything, they need to keep building on their bullpen and whatnot. They don't need to go for splash deals. I just think
That is exactly what I just wrote down. I said starting pitching depth never hurt anybody, but another bullpen arm would be nice to have, but no big splashes.
I think they just need to chill. I think they're in the right trajectory.
I mean, they're projecting upward, but I think if they get like an upgradable piece, like just maybe just like a slight upgrade, but not have to like sell the farm for it, that works out really nicely.
Yep. All right, the next one, the
Baltimore Orioles.
So I put they need to get a backup piece for their starting pitch and relief pitching because they lost a few pitchers to some significant injuries. You had John Means, which literally came back from Tommy John surgery, like from a year and a half ago, and then went back on the IL. He's not age. He is not aging well for what it is for him. You can't just rely on Felix Bautista. We've seen that last season when he went down with an injury, which I kind of predicted a little bit because they were using him a lot. Also, Craig Kimbrell, that magic dust is going to run out, and you can't just go to Scarface for more Yayo to get the magic dust back. Because that man has been a wild man for a long time. I could prove this theory with when he was with the Cubs and they signed him for big money, and he did absolutely nothing good for the Cubs. Ended up blowing more saves. And then you also have to go in for the starting pitching. Like, yes, you have Corbin Burns, but other than that, who else has really proven themselves as like a decent starting pitcher to get you deep into the postseason? Offense-wise, I think you're fine, but you really need to fix your starting and relief pitching.
I will say this. I'd say hold the line, but if a good value for a small upgrade comes, take advantage. Baltimore has one of the best farm systems in the majors. And if you have to give away like maybe a few lower ranked prospects to kind of maybe shore up something pitching wise, that's fine. Just you've got enough big prospects at the top that you don't necessarily have to sell away that much.
Yeah. All right. So now
the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes, sir. The Trop. So I put they need to sell high for prospects and pieces to rebuild for the future because it's obvious that the Rays, for the longest time, they did plug and play, and now the plugs are kind of bad, and they need an electrician to fix those plugs so that they can play again. I feel like the only thing that really does well in the Rays for the Rays and what they are known for is pitching. They need to keep that philosophy of the pitching as they go, but also get some more prospects and just young talent to replace Rosarena and the other budding stars. Jose Siri will probably be a sleeper trade if that happens. Maybe Yandy Diaz, who knows. But I think if you sell some of those pieces off and get some good prospects, you could be fine. And especially after what happened with Wander Franco, which he is no longer with the Tampa Bay Rays as of a couple weeks ago. That's a big thorn in your side if you're the Tampa Bay Rays.
I have sell away the high value players and look to moneyball your way back to relevancy, as Tampa Bay likes to do.
Okay, Billy Bean, calm down.
That's kind of the Tampa Bay Rays philosophy.
Yeah, it is.
It,
Except for the at least the Rays front office gives more of a shit about their um field than the Oakland A's did. Like literally, I mean, they both kind of had their pros and cons, but at least the Rays were able to sign future players that they thought were good, even though one of them turned out to be a bad egg. Like the A's don't do that. They literally just sell whoever they can at the highest value, and then just kind of go back to the bargain bin at
yeah,
Target.
that's what. But the A's did. The A's showed that it was possible. The Tampa Bay Rays have shown that not only is it possible, but you can also thrive off of it.
Yeah.
That is my concept with the Moneyball style. Oakland showed that possible. The Rays have just found a way to master the formula.
Yep. All right. So
And last but not least for the AL East, the Toronto Blue Jays.
and I put them being pretty much I put sell if you can because Vladdy is on I think the last year of his deal. Bo Bichette I think is like a year after, but it'd be good to probably trade Vladdy and Bo if you can. But
I have sell Vladdy and Bo if possible. As anything else can help.
I think
I
I think it'd be good to at least get Vladdy and Bo, but if you can find other pieces to put in that trade, go for it. But we'll see what the Blue Jays do. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep Bo and just trade Vladdy, but we will have to see what happens in the coming weeks or so.
yeah, but I could see them even trading away a pitcher too. Maybe trade away like an Alek Manoah if they still have him, or
Gosman.
yeah, Gosman,
Dude,
Barrios.
there is no way in hell they would trade Manoah. That guy has pretty much is non-existent in other people's eyes. Like you would
No,
have
if
to
you trade him,
DFA.
if you trade him away for some bottom of the barrel prospect, you
You're
might
not
be able to
even
get
gonna get
something out of
that.
it.
You're not gonna get value out of Manoah. He's gonna get DFA'd, and then some other organization's gonna give him a second chance, and then he's probably going to fold or thrive with that team. There is no way in hell you trade for him. There is no monetary value for Manoah. There is
But
either
no,
a minor league contract or a DFA. he was good 1 year and then totally flopped 2 years in a row. It didn't matter how much weight this man lost; he still flopped.
no, but I'm saying that Manoah is somebody who you could possibly add into like a smaller deal to as kind of that dead weight piece of a deal.
No one's gonna want the dead weight, though. Is my point. I don't care if you add him as like a player to be named later. It's not happening.
Not
No
happen.
one.
It may not be likely to happen, but it's not impossible.
Okay. All right. Next, we
Now to
have
the
the
NL East.
Now we have the Atlanta Braves. So I put them. What I put for the Braves was find a way to replace the production of Acuna, because that man is not coming back till next year. And the last time this happened for the Braves, they ended up winning the World Series. But um, Jock Peterson is I don't think he's available because he's on a contending team for the World Series in the Diamondbacks. And also they had Eddie Rosario at that time, which he is, I believe, on the Nationals or playing somewhere else. And then you had Jorge Soler, which he is currently with the
The
Giants.
Well, yeah, the Giants, yeah.
Yeah, he was with the Marlins last season. And then you still had Albies, Austin Riley. You didn't have Olsen. You had Freeman, and then you had some. You had Adam Duvall as well on that team, but you also had Will Smith and some others. But point is, if you want to rely on anyone other than the Big Bear Marcelo Ozuna, you gotta find other ways to win the games. The Braves seem to do pretty good every year, but you gotta find a way to fix some of those holes. And Acuna being gone was a real blow early in the season. Spence, go ahead.
I have find some healthy bodies for sustenance through all the injuries that they have already endured. They need sustenance to kind of stay in it.
Yep. Okay.
Next up, the New York Mets.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have simply make a dang decision as to which direction this team really wants to go. They're kind of just stuck in no man's land. And they're stuck in a fork in the road where they don't know whether to sell or continue to try and invest in hope and hold out for hope. Make a daggone decision.
Well, that decision is kind of like playing Russian roulette when it comes to the New York Mets. Because the Mets have either the worst luck in the damn world or the best luck in the world. And the last time they had the best luck in the world, they lost to the Kansas City Royals in the World Series after they had a good run against the Cubs and I believe it was the Nationals as well, because Daniel Murphy was on that team, the Mets, with a few others, and they still lost to the Royals. And ever since then, it's been kind of just rocky, and the Mets will be the Mets. But for me, I put they need to trade Lindor and any other high value players because it will, one, save the money. Number two, it'll probably get them some prospects or some player that's probably better than what they've got. But the Met, it seems like any player that goes to the Mets kind of either thrives or dies as a Mets player. Next one, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. And for this, it's an easy one. Stay healthy and hold.
I have hold and make no big splashes.
Now we go to the Washington Nationals. I put sell what you can.
I have make a flip here and there, but hang on to CJ Abrams at all costs.
Him too. I like CJ Abrams. And then for the Marlins, pretty much sell what you can because, my God, I'm surprised they haven't fire saled anybody. Because earlier in the year, Luis Arias got traded to the Padres from there, but
Yep. And mine I have is brace for fire sale, brace for impact.
alright, now we go to the color commentary. So this week it's big deal, little deal, or nothing burger. So we will start with Jordan Love refusing to practice without a deal, but both parties look to be at work on it. And this is regarding his new contract his big boy contract. He's trying to get the training wheels off. Do we think it's a big deal, little deal, or nothing burger?
I think it's a little deal. I'm going to say little deal just simply because though both sides are going to be working on it, it's not like Jordan Love is going to reshape the quarterback market. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be... it's concerning, but I don't think it's overly concerning.
I think it's a nothing burger because they literally just extended Kenny Clark, and if you're gonna extend him, they'll probably find some way to get Jordan Love a contract. And even if it doesn't happen this year, it just sucks for Love if he decides to not practice and doesn't get a deal, because at some point he's gonna have to prove that he can do well
He's currently
on his last
he's
year.
currently showing that he has the potential to earn some money, but I think that Green Bay is kind of wanting to they're wanting to work it out, but I think he really needs another year of kind of this type of level to really be 100% sold.
All right, and then the next one, Bengals president says that Jamar Chase deal will not likely be made this season. Makes sense because seems like he talks more shit on the field or off the field than on the field, but also you have like a few other guys that want big money too on the Bengals. Joe Burrow signed his contract last year or a couple years ago.
This to me is a nothing burger. This to me is a nothing burger because the hard part is that you've got T. Higgins that's wanting to try and make the money too. They just let Joe Mixon walk.
So
that was another
too.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd's gone too. So although Mixon was going to be a bigger money sink between the two of them.
Yeah.
So I think the Jamar Chase deal is not in the works right now because I believe they still have the ability to put a 5th-year option on him. So they've got time. They've got time to work on something with that. This is a nothing burger.
I think, if anything, I think it's a little deal with the Bengals because of the fact that this could mean that this could be his last year as a Bengal and he could sign somewhere else for bigger money, but it's also a nothing burger because of the fact that this is just kind of a headline piece that ESPN was because ESPN was bored and needed something to talk about. So I'm gonna honestly say nothing burger as well, but it could be a little deal for Bengals fans.
You still have a club option.
Right.
They still have a club option. They've still picked it up. So that is why I think that the Bengals have time. They're not sweating it now because there's time. Yeah, the numbers on the money are really only not, and it's a much smaller cap hit now than it would be next year. So I think that the Bengals waiting on this, it's only a big deal to Jamar Chase because he's wanting to make that money. It's a nothing burger, I think, for the organization because they've got another year of really team control.
Okay. All right. So, ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith blames John Harbaugh for criticism of Lamar Jackson due to the Ravens not winning a Super Bowl. I think this is a big fat nothing burger because Stephen A. Smith and ESPN like to stir shit up all the time whenever there's like literally nothing newsworthy to cycle through. Nothing burger for me.
I think this is a bigger deal than what you make it out to be, because I was listening to Stephen A. talk about this, and I think Stephen A. has a point. I think Stephen A.'s got a point here. I think that the issue, and Baltimore has made so many deep runs in the postseason, that I think the issue is John Harbaugh. Because John Harbaugh is kind of coaching them into situations where Lamar Jackson has not necessarily thrived. I think the issue of Lamar Jackson not winning a Super Bowl despite being a 2-time MVP, I mean, Peyton Manning had that same thing, but every single year it was in the right direction, and it just so happened that the Colts defense decided to play well.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my rebuttal to that. Do you? I feel like there's a reason why Michael Vick didn't win a Super Bowl too, even though he had a second chance and had Andy Reid as his head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't think that maybe they could have blamed Andy Reid for the fact that Vick didn't get a Super Bowl? Probably not, because at that time the Eagles didn't really play their best ball. But in the same sense, Lamar Jackson is kind of considered to be like a Michael Vick type athlete because he could run the ball and throw it. But the problem with Lamar Jackson is the consistency between throwing the ball and running the ball are two different things. There's a reason why people like me say that he is more of a running back rather than a quarterback because he doesn't really throw all that much, and when he does, it's not the greatest. And also, it's a problem between the Ravens when it comes to the weapons that they want to give him back when he started between then and to now. Like, now, even then, like, they didn't really spend much on talent because they really only spent money on Odell and Nelson Aguilar and then didn't really do anything after that. They drafted a wide receiver early that ended up costing them in the
Zay Flowers. Well, Zay Flowers, he's a rookie.
Okay,
Give him time.
But he cost them the chance to go to the Super Bowl through some stuff that he did. But Lamar Jackson, in a sense, you could blame John Harbaugh all you want, but there's a big reason why he is still on the Ravens as a head coach for them.
Oh yeah, because the Ravens are showing record of success. But
that's why I say that Stephen A. Smith is full of it, because he has said some very questionable things about other things.
We have seen NFL coaches get fired for the same type of success track record and not getting over the hump in the postseason. Example, Marty Schottenheimer. They fired him after a 14-2 season in San Diego. Yes. San Diego had one of their best seasons in franchise history in terms of regular season record. And after that, and after the divisional series loss, Marty Schottenheimer got fired.
And the Chargers have not won a Super Bowl ever since then.
Well, they haven't even won a Super Bowl at all, but they haven't been the same since. So I could see where Stephen A. has a point. I just took that really to hear him out. I think that John Harbaugh has been because it's like, yeah, he says that John Harbaugh says that Lamar Jackson has the potential to be the greatest quarterback ever. But I mean, Lamar Jackson is Michael Vick without the arm strength and is more accurate. You basically you take away from the arm strength and you trade it with throw accuracy, and that is Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson is, I think, as far as talent, Lamar Jackson is talented enough to get there and do well. But I just think that the play style sometimes is not the best fit. Or not as conducive for winning a Super Bowl.
I think if I'll tell you what, if Andy Reid was coaching Lamar Jackson, maybe they would have a shot at getting him a Super Bowl. But I don't know if it's really Jim Harbaugh's fault at the end of the day. I think, if anything, maybe it's between the talent of Lamar Jackson and or whatever he has around him too. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't help either, and sometimes the health of Mark Andrews has caused issues. But I think that, yeah, that I don't know if you can fully blame John Harbaugh for injuries.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that whatever your thing is wrong. I just think that Stephen A. Smith has said some questionable things.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith has said some questionable things, and some things that are kind of just a little bit off the wall.
He's good at stirring the pot. But anyways, let's go into the next one. USA Today predicts a Jets-Packers Super Bowl and the Jets winning the Lombardi #2.
I don't feel like that is going to happen at all. This is a nothing burger.
I mean, if Aaron Rodgers can last a whole season without tearing his ACL, and then the other facades that he's had, like the apparently being appointed vice president for RFK Jr. If RFK Jr. gets elected, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is gonna be able to play because he'll be too busy being the VP for Mr. Robert Kennedy Jr. But I think it's also a nothing burger because I don't think the Packers have what it takes to even get to the Super Bowl at this point. But
I think the Packers have potential. I think the Packers have potential, but I think it is entirely too soon.
Yes.
I think it's just a little bit too soon for the Packers to be that team. I honestly think that the ceiling is still sky high on the Lions.
Yes, definitely. Dude, they have a chip on their shoulder. And it is a very tasty chip. Speaking of chips or cereal of some sort, Travis and Jason Kelce unveiled the Kelce Mix cereal in partnership with General Mills. It's a combo of Reese's Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Me Lucky Charms. I'm more excited about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the Lucky Charms. I've never really had Reese's Puffs, I'll admit, but they do sound delicious. But my childhood was spent eating way too much Cinnamon Toast Crunch and picking out all the marshmallows and the Lucky Charms because screw them. I don't even know what the hell you call those things. Like the Cheerios that are a different shape, in my opinion. Like they kind of taste like Cheerios in a sense.
Yeah, they almost are like Cheerios in concept, yeah.
But screw those fake Cheerios. I want me some marshmallows. Those marshmallows are delicious. I don't know what it is, but damn. And then the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, chef's kiss. I think this is a little deal when it comes to just promotion and whatnot for the Kelce brothers. It's just another thing for them to make money off of, and I think it's a good idea to like bring like combos because like there's always gonna be like a weird flavor for a certain cereal that not everyone's gonna like, but I think this could be something interesting to like throw a wrench into the equation.
Hold up. Yeah, I guess I don't know why in this picture that Jason Kelce is holding a thing of Honey Nut Cheerios on top of that. But I actually, instead of the Lucky Charms, probably would have felt okay with them throwing Honey Nut Cheerios in it.
I want me Lucky Charms.
Or maybe some Golden Grams.
Boo! Lucky
for me,
Charms, Lucky Charms, Lucky Charms.
Do I think Lucky Charms is a decent cereal? Yes, but is Lucky Charms really a cereal that that does a great job in blending with two other very, very sugary cereals that kind of have that ultimate blend with chocolate and cinnamon and peanut butter? I don't know.
Well, if the leprechaun had to say, he would say, "You never get to me, Lucky Charms."
I will say that I think it's a little deal, especially in terms of like really good marketing from the General Mills side of it. But I think that for me personally, I'm out on the Lucky Charms. And
More
that's
Lucky Charms for me.
Yeah, I'm just out on the Lucky Charms.
Right,
but that's just me. And then we stay with Jason Kelce's former team for this next one, in that the relationship between Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts and head coach Nick Sirianni had a disconnect and is still currently a work in progress. Is this a big deal, little deal, or nothing burger?
I think it's a little deal because they're just trying to work out more of the mechanics, but also Nick Sirianni is kind of a hothead, it seems, when it comes to certain things that have happened in recent history, where he kind of called the Chiefs fans big whiny babies or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but I think he was just talking smack with Chiefs fans. But I feel like he's kind of a hothead, but who isn't a hothead as a head coach for a football team?
This is, in terms of the relationship between a quarterback and a head coach, and how much these two, especially in terms of offenses, need to be on the exact same page. This is a big deal. I'm going to say big deal in terms of this is a chemistry issue. And if they're still kind of in progress on things, there had to have been something in that collapse that the Eagles had last year, that there must have been some sort of distrust. And some distrust, some post-Super Bowl hangover that kind of put a dark cloud over the Eagles at that point and may affect them from potentially being division champions once again. And honestly, for me as a Commanders fan, this is blood in the water. But other than that, I mean, for the Eagles to do well, these two have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And kind of end up having a good relationship.
I think that if anything, they need to make up and hug and get some dinner together or something. But I think the only reason I said little deal is because like they were really good, and I think there was just it was partly bad luck on the Eagles front, but also they had just the whole morale of that team was bad. If it was just really Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, then like it is here, where it's just they have a disconnect.
And it's just a few bad apples spoiling the bunch at that point.
Yeah, because like here's the thing: when the Chiefs had some disconnect between Bieniemy, Reed, and Mahomes during that Bengals game where they lost in the championship game for the AFC. Like obviously there was some disconnect, but that didn't stop them from getting better. It was more so that I think Mahomes was trying to do too much, and then he later realized, hey, like, that was on me. Like, I think it's, yeah. We'll see what happens between those two, but anyways, here is our stud and dud of the week. I will go first on the stud and dud. Are you okay with that, Spinnis, or would you rather?
That is fine.
Okay.
That is fine.
All right, so my stud this week, I have Bobby Witt Jr. for continuing to tear the cover off the ball after the home run derby with a homer in the first at bat of the second half. I thought that was pretty damn good for him. And also, he had his second chance of trying to go for the cycle and missed it by a single because of a hit by pitch.
Because they decided to plunk him.
Yeah, jerks. And then my honorable mention for the stud, I have Bruce Bochy for putting the Royals players in during the 7th inning of the All-Star game. And the reason I say this is because Bruce Bochy was the head coach of the 2014 winning World Series champs of the San Francisco Giants. And I say this because this puts a little bit of respect on Bochy's name for Royals fans because of that World Series that happened. And that just kind of put some salt in the wound for the Royals fans until now, because I feel like it was really cool how they did the intro for the substitutions for the Royals players, and it just felt good as Royals fans to also hear the announcers be like, instead of the doom and gloom or just the ignoring the fact that the Royals players are in the All-Star game, they also put the stat of this is a winning Royals team that has not been this good since 2015, and they're improving compared to what happened last season, which we don't want to talk about. But other than that, the dud this week I have Shaq Barrett, the former linebacker for the Buccaneers. He retires suddenly after signing a deal with the Dolphins this past offseason a few months ago. And I believe it was due to the fact that someone in his family or someone close to him passed away, and he wanted to take more time and just focus on family rather than football, which is a noble thing. But I just think it was a dud because it was so sudden after signing a deal with the Dolphins, and also pretty much bad-mouthing his former team, saying you shouldn't have got rid of me, so I'm going to sign here and prove you wrong, and ends up retiring anyways. Spend what you got.
My first stud goes to the Bears for allowing safety Jonathan Owens as excused absences to miss 7 training camp practices so he can go to Paris for the Olympics and support his wife, Simone Biles. The honorable mention here is Atlanta Dreams' Alicia Gray for sweeping the skills and three-point shootout during WNBA's All-Star Weekend. And then my dud this week is San Francisco Giants manager Bob Melvin for getting ejected before a game even started against the Colorado Rockies on Sunday. Because I think he probably had a few choice words for the umpires, and the umpire just filthy casually just said, "You're gone."
He probably made he probably talked about the referee's mama, like made a "yo mama so fat" joke, and then that referee was like, "All right, now that's enough out of you, Mr. Melvin." And then Melvin was like, "I'm just messing around, guys. I'm just messing around." He's like, "Yeah, out of here."
Yeah, I mean, normally when the umps run a guy, they give him the emphatic, like, "You're," like, run him that way. It's like, nope, this was just filthy cash. Like, you just like, but turn around, bye. Like, just give him that little, like,
the crossfire.
Yeah, Ruckus, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to Ruckus and The Menace, episode number 107. This has been a Ruckus and The Menace sports production. I am Ruckus, always cousin of Ruckus.
And I'm Spence the Menace.
Thank you for listening to our awesome podcast. We will have another episode next week. It'll probably be late like this one, but we will see. Spence, do you have anything to add to that?
Nope, we're all good here. And until the next one, deuces, everybody.
See y'all later, deuces.